Our people have turned their backs irrevocably on ECOWAS, and now it's up to us to create the Alliance of Sahel States Confederation.
This is the journey to one Africa.
Hey everybody, Paul here. Today we're diving into the growing anti-France sentiment in parts of Africa, especially in former French colonies. You see these headlines, you see the protests, but what's the real story? Let's break down the main reasons behind this rising discontent. We're talking about a relationship marked by colonialism with all its baggage.
Imagine a friend coming over, borrowing your favorite shirt, never returning it, and then acting like you should be grateful they let you hang out in their backyard. That's colonialism in a nutshell. For decades, France ruled over vast swaths of Africa, extracting resources, exploiting labor, and leaving behind a legacy of economic dependence and social upheaval. We're talking forced labor, suppression of local cultures, the works. And the thing is, the damage doesn't just disappear when the flags change. These wounds run deep, shaping how generations view France.
So, colonialism officially ends. Everyone claps, but then what? Well, some argue that France never truly left. Enter neocolonialism, where instead of outright rule, you have economic control. Think of it like this. You're free to choose what you want, but the only options are French-owned businesses. The CFA franc, a currency tied to the euro and controlled by France, is a huge point of contention. Critics say it hinders economic development and keeps former colonies reliant on France, so while on paper it's independent, the reality feels a lot like the past.
France maintains a significant military presence in Africa, with thousands of troops deployed in operations like Barkhane, supposedly fighting terrorism. But here's the thing, some Africans see it as France playing police in their backyard, protecting its own interests under the guise of security. This perceived hypocrisy fuels resentment, with many questioning France's true motives and commitment to African stability.
Imagine your friend constantly meddling in your relationships, always backing the most toxic partners. That's what some African nations feel France does with their leaders.
For decades, France has been accused of propping up corrupt dictators who serve French interests over their own people.
This support for authoritarian regimes undermines democracy and fuels instability.
Across the continent, a new generation is coming of age, one that didn't live through colonialism firsthand. They're done with the old arrangements, demanding true independence and control over their destinies. This rise in nationalism is fueled by a desire to rewrite the narrative, to forge a future free from the shadows of the past. China and Russia have been more than happy to step in, offering alternative partnerships and investment without the historical baggage.
Remember that pot on the stove? All these factors, the historical grievances, the neo-colonial practices, the interventions, they've been simmering for a while. But recently, things have started to boil over. Military coups in Mali, Burkina Faso, Guinea, all former French colonies, and have ousted leaders seen as too close to France. Then there's the expulsion of French troops and ambassadors, a clear sign of the shifting tides. From Dakar to Ouagadougou, people are taking to the streets, demanding an end to French interference and a new era of African agency. Let's get specific. In Mali, years of French military intervention haven't quelled the insurgency, leading many to question France's effectiveness and commitment. In Niger, the discovery of uranium, a key resource for France's nuclear program, has sparked debates about exploitation and resource control. And in Burkina Faso, the expulsion of French troops was met with widespread celebration, highlighting the depth of anti-France sentiment. As we've seen, the anti-France sentiment in these African countries is deeply rooted in a mix of historical injustices, perceived neo-colonial practices, and contemporary grievances. It's about agency, self-determination, and writing their own futures. The future of these relationships will depend on how both sides address these complex issues. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like, share and subscribe for more insightful content.